Let go of your need to control life. Life is not a problem that needs fixing. It is a process to be experienced. You don't need to think in every single moment of your life, of your very existence, on how to fix your life, on how to fix a situation, on how to make something work out. You don't need all that mental rumination on things. You don't need to let your mind run your life, because your mind running your life has been the problem this whole time. See, we humans, we have a thinking problem. It's not a financial problem. It's not a relationship problem. There's challenges in life. There's things that may not go the way we want it to go. Not the way our ego wants life to go. But in reality, life is going to happen no matter what happens. In this very moment, this is where you can find security in. You can find security in the constant moment to moment life that is the present moment. Because that's all you have. That's all you have right now. As you're listening to these words, as you're watching this video, all you have is this moment. Release your want to control. Release your wanting to control another person, to make them act in a way that you want them to act, to make them say less to you, or make them say more to you, or have them be nicer to you. Let go of all that and really ask yourself, truly, if I let go of my ego, can I allow this situation to just be? Can I allow this situation to be with no judgment and all acceptance? And acceptance doesn't mean approval. Acceptance just means that I am not going to suffer due to this situation not working out, because I don't have to. The more that you awaken, the more that you will realize this as truth, that you actually have a choice to be unconscious or to be conscious, to be in the present moment or to be in your mind, to be at peace or to suffer. You actually have a choice. And many people don't even realize they do, because they believe that they are their minds. They believe themselves to be this ego identity, this false identity that they've built over their entire lives, that everybody has built over everybody's lives. And just because insanity is normal doesn't make it any less insane. Someone who has an addiction to thinking is the same thing as someone who is on the streets talking to themselves. You're constantly talking to yourself. You're constantly talking about how you need to make this situation work in your favor, how this situation needs to go your way. Trying to control life, trying to contain life is like trying to package up water in a paper and string. It'll just be one big soggy mess. It'll be one wet mess. You won't even be able to fit it in, because the water will always seep out. It's like trying to hold water in your hands, and you're trying to keep it in your hands by squeezing your hand tighter. And it's just going to make the water seep out of your hands quicker. Think of the water as life. And the more that you try and hold on to it, it'll just seep out. You will lose life. And that package becomes more fragile as you go on. The more that you experience life, the more that you experience pleasure and pain, the more that you experience, the more awakened you become to the truth of who you really are. You will lose your innate desire to want to control a situation, because you will realize how futile that is, how futile it is to go against the flow of life when the flow of life is always going. But you can find security in one thing and one thing only, and it is this present moment, because this present moment is always there. And if you're not controlling, then you're hoping. You're hoping for a better future. You're hoping for things to work out. You're hoping for better health, better wealth. You're hoping for an afterlife, after life. We're always aiming for the future. We chase happiness at the promise of what could come, rather than being where we are, appreciative and grateful for what we already have. And then we add prerequisites to our happiness, rather than having this unconditional happiness about life, about people, about our thoughts. Looking in fascination about the ignorance of our thoughts or the ignorance of other people. And that does not mean that we can't have boundaries with people. That doesn't mean that we have to accept BS. In fact, the more awakened you become, the less BS that you stand for. Because you don't feel this desire to have to impress anybody. You don't feel this inner loneliness, this effect of loneliness, into where you have to accept someone being mean to you because you don't want to be lonely, because they're the only one that's giving you attention. You don't have to live like that anymore. Everything is fine as it is. This moment right now is fine as it is. There's no problem going on in this moment. As you're watching this video, ask yourself that question. Is there anything going on in this moment? What in your life are you resisting? What in your life do you not want to happen? What in your life are you resisting to release control? Where in your life are you hoping for something good to happen rather than just being where you are and controlling what you can control, which is yourself, which is your level of consciousness, which is what you put in your mouth every day, which is how often you go out and you exercise, how often you're in this moment being present, meditating, how often you do good habits instead of bad habits, how often you consume content, you consume instant gratification, you consume high dopamine-esque content, and you're constantly fogging up your brain. What you can't control is what people are doing, feeling, thinking, or even what they're saying, because that control is out of fear and not out of leadership. Live, laugh, learn, and love. I love you.